Alright, it has been a week. We can't put it off any longer. Let's have a talk about Stadia. If you've clicked on this video, you should already know what Stadia is. For the people living under rocks for the last few years, Stadia is a cloud-based gaming platform. Basically, you can launch and run any game without having to install it. Pretty revolutionary stuff, to be honest, but it does have some downsides, which we'll get to shortly. 9 to 5 had its Stadia launch just over a week ago, and the results have been interesting. With crossplay between Stadia and PC being immediately available, there have been a few obstacles. The most noticeable changes have been the influx of Stadia players, new and returning PC players, and very short queue times, which makes this game a viable weekday game instead of having to wait till the weekend to find a player base. You'll understand that reference if you've watched my deep dive video, which you can watch by clicking here. If you wish to skip the short info segment on Stadia, please use the chapters function via the scrub bar below or skip to this timestamp shown on the screen. Stadia itself markets itself more towards a casual player base and those who may not have a dedicated gaming setup at home or difficulties playing in one. Some examples are people who don't have a PC or console in their household, those who want to game from the comfort of their couch or bed, those who travel a lot, or those who just want the freedom to game anywhere at any time, Wi-Fi dependent. Or even those people such as myself who have parental responsibilities. For those that watch my streams, my little man makes a guest appearance sometimes. Personally, I can definitely see the appeal of cloud-based gaming if you don't have a PC or console, or if you need the freedom to game in morbid or non-traditional places. But the platform does have its disadvantages, especially in multiplayer games such as 9 to 5. The game launched exclusively on the PC back in late August and has been dominated by mouse and keyboard users for over 3 months. There were a few PC players that were requesting controller support, but that didn't come until the launch of Stadia. A high majority of Stadia players are controller only. There will always be some rare exceptions though, but the main issue here is that Redhill dropped a massive influx of controlled players into a keyboard and mouse dominated competitive first-person shooter. These Stadia players had to learn the game from scratch with their controller in a completely unforgiving environment. With all due respect to our fellow 9 to 5 players on Stadia, their insertion did come with a few issues. Crossplay is always a good idea to boost player count, but depending on the genre and type of game, sometimes it just does not make sense. Dropping a controller-dominated platform into a mouse and keyboard environment makes for a lot of what we call in the game scene a complete stomp. There have been some players such as me and my team who have realized that Stadia players need to be eased into the game gently. We brainstorm as a collective to identify the best ways to help the Stadia players. Now this doesn't mean we're going to give them free kills or wins, but to give them a little advantage so they have a chance to learn the game and even play it the way it's meant to. Ideas range from pistol only, melee only, or even my favourite, the Goomba Stomp. Unfortunately, there are some people in the community that need to win and flex in every single game to satisfy their ego. But it has been quite wholesome to see the community come together to welcome and support our fellow Stadia players. To celebrate the launch of Stadia, Redhill ran an event called Welcome to the Cloud, which gave everyone the opportunity to earn some really cool armor and guns that have cloud-based skin schemes. Like the successful Days of the Dead event from a couple of months ago, this cloud event ran on only one matchmaking queue. This means everyone was able to grind the event task out without having to worry about queuing a separate matchmaking queue. Redhill has learned from previous events that splitting the matchmaking queues was not viable with such a small player base. Speaking of matchmaking queues, it has been such a welcoming experience to pretty much not wait for a game outside of weekends. More people have been streaming the game, even more people are playing the game, and bloody hell, outside of the ping issue, oh, this lag is fucking horrendous, still 350 ping, oh my god, Jesus fuck. Oh, this fucking goddamn fucking lag. That did get fixed. The Stadia launch has been such an enjoyable experience, even with the downsides to it. It felt nice just to be able to launch the game on a Tuesday night here in Australia and be able to get some games in it, albeit still on US servers. I am once again asking for an Asia server. Player count has not only just risen, it is now at higher 24-hour peaks than it was pre-Stadia. Now, we can only track PC players via Steam charts or SteamDB. There is no public data on player counts for Stadia. Maybe Redhill has some data or information that they'd be willing to share in the future so we can get a proper look and understanding of how many actual Stadia players there are. In the lobbies that I've played in the past week though, they've always been Stadia dominated. Stadia isn't available worldwide and there is no APAC supported regions. With such a limited range of supported regions, it again does feel like APAC is getting completely shafted in everything 9 to 5 related. During the first few days of the Stadia launch, I browsed some streams both on Twitch and YouTube to check out the Stadia Streamers to see how they were faring with the game. Every stream I did tune into showed a keen interest in the game, and it was great to see that even the chat was getting involved by helping the streamer learn the game mechanics. As the Stadia players get more experience with the game and how it's played, I'm sure the challenge of going up against them will only increase. I am personally super invested with the game, the Stadia player base, and the overall success of it. Stadia is definitely a welcome addition to 9 to 5. On a final note, welcome to the cloud. Yeah, do it. Melee, do it.
Razor, go rage on this. Fuck off. No.
I got him.
Well done, York. Hostiles are toast.
Oh, he'll hunt